even though Carter Bryant didn't get his desired minutes at Arizona, he still displayed a high level of connective abilities. With his shooting, passing, and defense, there are still going to be a various amount of teams that are interested in him in the lottery. Standing at 6'6" with a lot of connective traits and a winning mindset and skill set, Carter Bryant looks to be one of the better lottery players in this draft. And in this episode of At the Buzzer Sports, we're going to take a look at some of his film and some of his best team fits. Let's get right into it. So when I talk about Carter Bryant's game and when I say he's a connector, what I mean is he does everything that can complement a primary ball handler, which is something that is extremely important in the NBA today. When we talk about role players aren't guys who are just good at one specific role anymore. You're not going to find a lot of high-level role players who are just good shooters and that's it. You're not going to find a lot of high role players who are just good defenders and that's it. You have to be able to be a shooter and a defender, a shooter and a ball handler, a defender and a rebounder, a defender and an athlete. There has to be multiple layers within your game to be a high-level role player in today's game, and I think Carter Bryant does that pretty well. First thing I want to look at is the jump shot for him. How good does the jump shot look? And this is something that I'm extremely high on because if you take a look, his feet are square to the rim. He bends his knees. He follows through. He has a really good form and he knocks it down. That's something that I really like. The form on his jump shot is extremely well thought out. And this is another play when I mean attention to detail. I think Carter Bryant plays with an attention to detail to where it's a skill to be a role player. It's a skill to be an off-ball player. It's a skill to be an off-ball defender. It's a skill to be a rebounder, a passer. And this is what I mean when I say it's a skill. Because Carter Bryant is going to run a baseline runner, but he's going to stand in the dunker for just a slight second. When he slows down and stands in the dunker, the defender that's assigned to be following him stays in the zone, assuming that Carter's going to be sitting in the dunker. He completely turns his back to him and watches the ball. As Carter Bryant realizes that the defender turns his back and watches the ball, he's going to leak out to the corner, giving himself a wide open three. Once again, the jump shot is beautiful. He knocks down the open shot. I also want you guys to take a look at how high his release point is at this shot. Now, if we go back just a few seconds, he does take the shot a little in motion, meaning he doesn't necessarily set his feet. He catches the ball and immediately shoots. He doesn't have the best set jumper in this shot, but the length that he possesses and the way he's able to arc his shot as high as he does gives me the belief that he can be a really good motion shooter. Now, if it were me, I would try to swing through and maybe go baseline. For example, if he just gets better as an on-ball creator a little bit more. Now, this is not a necessary indictment on what he does, but off the catch, he can swing through here and get the defense to collapse on his baseline drive, and now he has an open big right around the rim. I think that's probably the next step of his game, just being able to attack late closeouts, things of that nature, but the arc on his shot is very intriguing. Now, he misses the shot, but we're looking at the arc in the process of the game. Now, here's another look at where shooting off motion can be very important. We're going to take a look at actions like this where he just flashes to the corner. He gives him, I deem, very, very, very valuable for somebody like Carter Bryant. He stands at 6'6". He's a very good rebounder, and he's a fantastic off-ball player. Like, I think people don't understand the difference where you're a really good shooter, you're not the best off-ball player, meaning you don't know how to relocate when your main ball handler or just got somebody who's handling the ball in that possession is in trouble. So Carter Bryant, in my opinion, does a fantastic job of just relocating and always giving himself an open opportunity, which is something just like this. He gives himself the open opportunity and he knocks it down. He is one of the best shooters in this class. He's one of the best shooters in his class. And the best part about it is he's a fantastic off-ball defender and he stands at 6'6", 6'7". I also think Carter Bryant can be a very good passer in the NBA. Now, I don't think he's going to be breaking down defenses and making any significant reads, but do I think he can be a positive passer to where if you can use him to flash to the middle in a zone, I think he could be really good in that space, especially if he becomes some really good mid-range shooter. I think he could be really good to flash in the middle of a zone here around the free throw line and be able to really dissect the defense once they collapse to the middle, whether it's hitting somebody in the dunker, hitting somebody in the corner. I think he could be really good at that, because if we take a look here, he's going to get the ball on the perimeter, and he's going to immediately notice the cutter. Off the catch, he notices the cutter immediately, hits him in stride, and he goes up for the layup. He misses the layup, but the open shot was created by Carter Bryant there. Now, this is something that I would want a little bit more progression from as the years go along with him. I just think as of right now, you wouldn't necessarily use him as an on-ball creator as much, because as you can tell against this defender, he just struggles to turn the corner, get a foul out of it, so I don't hate that possession. Or if we take a look at this possession here, once he gets the ball on the perimeter, it's almost like he's waiting for somebody to create an advantage so he can pass out of the advantage. He's not necessarily the one creating any type of advantage. I just don't think he has the ball handle to necessarily create advantages consistently. So that may hurt his passing a little bit, that somebody has to create the advantage off the ball for him to make a higher level read. But I think his passing is pretty pinpoint. As soon as he makes the decent cut, he makes the pass and he gets to the rim. Now, I don't necessarily look at college basketball stats, so I don't know if Carter Bryant is a better finisher around the rim, but from what I've seen, he does struggle a little bit playing through contact once getting downhill to the rim. Here, he's going to try and hop step into a rim attempt, and it just does not fall the way you would think. And I see these a lot in his game, just hop stepping into a more physical defender, and it doesn't necessarily fall for him. So you would have to lean on a more mid-range and three-point shot diet for him to start out. But he is still very young. He is still very raw. I think adding some strength to his profile would help him in situations like this. But then again, if you look at the athlete he is, in the open floor, he's able to explode. Once he gets the ball here, one dribble, straight to the rack. I think in transition, he can be really good, even though that was a travel there, but still. Now, from what I said earlier, I think he could be really good attacking zone. I think he can be somebody that really can make high-level decisions in the middle of a zone, being a mid-range shooting threat and a passing threat. So you swing the ball here, and they immediately rotate to Bryant. He doesn't necessarily try and dribble his way out of the zone or out of the double. He doesn't try and shoot over two defenders. He just makes the right read. He takes it, he swings it to the free throw line. Now you have a mid-range shot here, or you have an attempt like this. Now let's talk about the defensive side, where I think he has a lot of upside. When you look at his length and his height, the way he's able to contest shots. As you can see here, he's loading up for the jump shot, and look at the contest. Look at the contest. Look at how much ground he's able to cover and how much space he's able to take away with a really good contest here. That's a really hard shot to make, and he ends up getting the block. So the wingspan is there. If we take a look at this play here, he also does a really good job protecting the rim. Once again, with his height, the way he gets off the floor, and how much space he takes away. Now, I would say this. He isn't the best on the ball, just because I don't think he has the foot speed to guard guards. Like, this is Caleb Foster, I believe, for Duke. I don't think he has the foot speed to be able to guard on the perimeter on the ball at a consistent level just yet. Maybe some slower wings, maybe like a Brandon Ingram, I think he could do a pretty good job against, or someone who just doesn't rely on their athleticism, a Chris Middleton-esque, a CJ McCollum type of guard, or maybe even like guards that just don't necessarily rely on their athleticism. I think he could do a better job against, but guys that are shifty, fast on the perimeter, I think he could struggle against. And I think just guards being able to get lanes and be able to turn the corner against him is something that could hurt a lot. And the only reason I believe that this is an open layup is because Arizona center comes away and takes away that lane. So that's something that would be concerned for me. Now, y'all know I have to add a clip of my favorite prospect in the draft. Look at Kaman Malawash just knocking down an open three. Come on, man. Come on. Like, come on. But here's a clip of Carter Bryant being able to stay in front of a Con Knipple who doesn't necessarily lean on his athleticism to create open looks. He relies on his strength and his shot-making ability, and Carter Bryant does a really good job of staying in front of him and taking away a driving angle. Even though he does slip here, he does force a pass out in this scenario. And this is why I also think Carter Bryant can be a really good low man. Here you see him roaming around the paint. He shuffles his feet and adjusts to get a good contest at this layup, and he does a pretty good job taking that shot away, leading to a turnover. As you can see here, he gets punched on, but Everybody gets punched on. It just happens, you know, especially somebody who's going to be like high usage as a low man, which is something I think Carter Bryant can do pretty well. Here he is guarding Cooper Flagg in the post, and he's going to face up. He's going to try and go past him. I think this is actually really good defense, just better shot making by Cooper Flagg. I think this is a perfect clip that sums up what Carter Bryant can be defensively, and that's just a multi-tool. I don't think you're going to ask him to be your lead point of attack defender, but you're going to ask him to be somebody that flies around the perimeter, flies around the half court, and just makes life hard for opposing offenses. If we take a look at this clip, he's helping off the corner shooter to be a rim protector and to be the lone low man in this scenario. The guard is going to make the pass here. They're going to rotate. The defense is going to rotate. Carter Bryant finds the open man, and he's going to be able to contest the shot. As soon as the shot goes up, he's able to square his feet and contest the shot pretty well, leading to a miss. A lot of strengths that I've seen in Carter Bryant's game is his set shooting, meaning the way he's able to shoot the ball when his feet are set and he's around the three-point line. We saw that earlier in the film breakdown. Him being able to have a really good jump shot, a really high release point, and a really good follow-through lead him to being a really good shooter, in my opinion. Now, some of his measurements, weighing in at about 6'6" and having a really positive wingspan, leads him to being really good on defense and really good at offense, whether it's a passer, someone who plays passing lanes, someone who can block shots. And I also think his off-ball defense is very good as well. And those are the things I talked about just a few seconds ago. Now, we also talked about his weaknesses as well, whether that's his on-ball creation, him not having the athleticism to necessarily turn the corner with the ball in his hand, and finishing through contact. I think he's a really good finisher in the open floor, but through contact, I still have some questions. My player comparison for Carter Bryant would be Mikal Bridges, and I think Mikal Bridges is one of the better off-ball players in the NBA, one of the better set shooters in the NBA, one of the better off-ball defenders, and his length and athleticism help him with that as well. Now, the difference between him and Carter Bryant is I think Carter Bryant is going to come into the league a better rebounder than Mikal Bridges, and I also think Carter Bryant has the potential to be a better passer. But some of the similarities I see are pretty evident with Mikal Bridges' high arcing jump shot and the way he's able to arc it when he has the ball in his hand and how hard it is to block. I think Carter Bryant can do the same. As far as his jump shot mechanics, I think they're pretty much similar, and I also think they can pretty much have the same impact on defense. Here are 4 of my favorite fits for Carter Bryant. The first team up is the Houston Rockets. I think his shooting, length, defense, and passing pair really well with Amen Thompson's rim pressure and Alperen Sengun's post playmaking. As for the Portland Trailblazers, I think his play in the open floor can really match with Deni Avdija's game. His corner three-point shooting and his set three-point shooting can also make a really big difference for this team. I think the San Antonio Spurs defensive duo of Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama could be a really good fit for Carter Bryant at pick 14. And I also think that Carter Bryant can be a really good off-ball playmaker for Scottie Barnes in Toronto. All in all, I think Carter Bryant has a tremendous amount of upside in the NBA, and he's shown a lot of it at Arizona. I think this is a mold for a very positive player that can play 10 to 15 years in the NBA, and is going to be very interesting to see who drafts him and how he performs at the higher level. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section who you guys would want to see me talk more of in this 2025 NBA draft. And as always, I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.